Welcome everybody. So I'm on Dave Cullen's video from Computing Forever here, his latest video. And one of my comments here was reasonably well received. You can pause that if you want to read that. So let's scroll down here though, because there's a comment from Ray, BitChute's CEO. Very rarely he will comment here. Where is it? There you go. And again, I'll let you pause the video so you can read the comment I sent him here about you know, I've updated the CommentFreely to fix a good few issues, but I haven't heard anything back. As a little demonstration here, let's actually hot fix the comments on this particular page, so I can just show you some of the features briefly. So to do that, I'm going to select my bookmarklet for that. And it basically refreshes the comments. Yeah, redisplays them. So let's go back down to that comment once I've resorted it back into popular. And of course, yeah, that all looks as it should do. So let's come back down to the Ray's comment here. Because one of the nice little features that Hexagod previously did the same, but I've incorporated essentially the same feature. So now what you can do is, even though the cursor doesn't show it, you can actually click on the icon or the name and display the profile in another window. So in this instance, you could indeed verify that it is the BitChute CEO. And now, where does he say that? I think if you actually go into his channel, no, oh yes, yeah, that's right, yeah. And then in the about, he mentions that he's the CEO. Okay, so let's close that window. While we're here, let me also very briefly show you the features that the other features are fixed, and then I'll get on to the main change I've just made. So the one of the big ones is where if you were, you know, you've put a nice in-depth comment that you could have taken a good while to write, and then when you go to save it, it loses the line breaks, so you can spend a considerable amount of time sort of putting those back in. Another fix I've just implemented, which was pretty straightforward, where there was an issue on the back end where it couldn't save the comment, what would happen is it would appear as if it had saved fine, but in fact, yeah, it hadn't saved it. And if you didn't realize that, you could lose, you know, like a good change that you've made. But let me just show you that indeed the fixes are working here. So I'm just going to change this to testing, blah, blah, blah. And then if we save that, there you go. So you see that that looks spot on. But I'll edit that back out again. Okay, so let's save that. Yeah, so that's a big one. And then the other small one was where, you know, if you happen to have a link at the point where it's let me show you that. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, well, where it's like truncated the comment, you could get like corruption. So I fixed that as well, and so on. But let's now get to the fairly major change I've just made here, which will hopefully be appreciated. Um, this is the significantly improving the time it takes to display the comments. Um, the actual load time for the comments can take quite some time, but yeah, unlike Amazing Polly's, she gets a good amount of comments on her videos. You know, it can take a good while for the comments to appear. So I've added a good amount of code to much improve that. So let me demonstrate that for you. Okay, so let's check out her I'm Sober Coronavirus video. So let's go into that, and I'm going to immediately pause the actual video here. And as you can see, I'm displaying the console here, where what I've done is I've added some so yes, I've added some profiling that allows us to see how long each sort of part of the loading comments process takes. So let me manually refresh the comments. So there you go. Hopefully you can read that. It took 5.7 seconds to get a response back from the server, and then it took 1.2 seconds to process the top level comments, and then or main comments, and then it took 3.2 seconds to process the child comments, which is the replies to the, there you go, so that's the replies to the main comments. So the overall time to process the comments is 5.3 seconds. And for those interested in the, if you actually know the code, this is the where I replace those profiling breakpoints or conditional breakpoints in the comment actions JS, and I'll actually show you the how I achieved that. So yeah, you can just use the you know, set up a global. I've called it checkpoint, using the date, which gives you the milliseconds passed since 1970. The not at the start of that prevents it actually from stopping at that point. And then you just have additional breakpoints for where you do the actual you check the time again, you know, deducting the previous checkpoint, and that gives you the time elapsed. And then if you want to do a subsequent checkpoint, you just need to update the checkpoint value, as I do there. So you can see, yeah, that was the low comments one, and then the following lines, the total processing time. Okay, so now let's look at I'll switch to my updated files, and you can see how much quicker it is to process the comments. Okay, let's see how. So yeah, I shaved a couple seconds off there, which is pretty good. So, and the thing is, if we look, the Polly's video here, it only has 1,865 comments. So, I mean, for BitChute, that's pretty good. But on YouTube, of course, you know, videos get way more than that. So this improvement will hopefully mean, you know, allow for more comments in the future. The load time for the comments is obviously hopefully something can be done there on the back end to improve that, but yeah, without looking at the code, who knows on that one, because that's obviously quite significant. But if you're for anyone who's interested, you know, on the coding and technically how I achieve this, let me show you. I'll actually step through the code so you can see exactly what I had to do to achieve that significant improvement. So let's go to the actual comments.js code here, and let's see if I can. What's that going to do? Oh, there we go. And yeah, as I say, I'll actually put a breakpoint here so we can step through. In fact, to do that, I can actually just edit my conditional breakpoint here and just remove that not character off the breakpoint, so it'll actually stop at that point. So let's do that, and I'm going to manually refresh the comments, so that is going to be called. So let me get the comments object here and then call the function that will refresh them for us. And again, what we should see is the load time should be displayed, and then it stops as I requested at my first conditional breakpoint. So at this point, it's basically, this is where it's going to add the main level, sort of the top comments. Now, when it was previously doing, and I'll show you the actual function, it was basically it calls the add comment function for each comment that it wants to add. But the thing is, though, this method, this function, is perfectly fine where you know, the videos don't have a large amount of comments, or if you're actually, because this function is called where you add, you know, you add a comment yourself. But the trouble with it is, see this line here. What this is doing is it basically when you call it with the new comment to add to the list, it basically goes through all the comments that you've so far added to find the top comment that you're adding it to, appending to. So if you can imagine, when you're getting up into the thousands of comments, that is super inefficient. And in addition, it uses the find methods, which means it checks every single. If you think of like the structure of a HTML page as like a tree structure, what the find will do, it's going to look through every single branch, every single node. It's going to check for this specific selector here, where it has this data ID of the parent that you're looking for. So as I say, when you're getting up into the thousands of comments, that is the time that takes is going to add up, isn't it? So, and in addition to that, it also will it updates the status of the top comments. You know, where it says, like, initially it only shows you 2 replies. You know, say if there are actually 20, initially it will only show you 2. Well, what this does is it will update the status of that top level comment, to reflect the current number of replies. So it's going to do that 20 times. So again, that's not what you want to do, is it? Where you're processing thousands of comments, that's obviously not ideal. So if we now go back to my updated code here, so now I don't call the add comment at all. I do what's required myself in just a simple loop here, where, let's get rid of this again. Oh, it doesn't allow me. Yeah, so which is simply a case of all we want to do is create the new top level comment, and then just append it to the comment list, which is like which is off screen. You know, it's not actually adding it to the what you can see on the page. But in addition, what we want to do is we want to save a reference of this newly created comment, so then we can look that up in future where we're adding replies, which is what I'm doing here. So I create a lookup here via the ID of the comment. So then we can pull that quickly up again where we want to add replies to that top level comment. Okay, so let's actually now move on to the replies to follow up on that. So again, what I'll do is I'll edit my conditional breakpoint here, and again I'll remove the not, so it will stop at that point. So let's carry on. Okay, so it's stopped at the replies now, and again, yeah, in the original code, it will basically call the add comment method for every reply, with the inefficiencies that I mentioned. So let me show you how I now make this way more efficient. So we've got one of the comments here, and what I basically do in this little loop here is just pull the use the lookup that I created to give us the ultimately the container for the child comments, the replies, and also the ID of the top level comment that the reply is associated with. So let me step over that. Okay, I mean that doesn't take any time, or it won't take any time at all. And then I have a just to be on the safe side, yeah, if for some reason the there's a break in the comments where the parent has disappeared and the data hasn't been updated to reflect that, I allow for that. So let's step over that. Okay, and now what I do here, this is I also now create a lookup for the how many replies a top level comment has, using the ID for the top level comment. So of course initially that's going to be 0, or it won't find it, but it defaults to 0. So where it is 0, I then switch the top level comment element, I switch it to the child comments container for that element, which saves having to keep looking that up. You see what it's a direct child of that main comment. So we update our lookup to refer to that element in future. So let's step over that. Okay, and now we actually append that, we create the actual reply comment, the element, and again add it to our lookup table, because it itself could be, someone could have replied to it. So it's like a pseudo parent. And then we simply append that to the child comments container. So let's step over that, and then we update our the actual reply counts for that top level comment. And yeah, so it's just going to repeat that for all the replies, but as you saw, that's now way quicker. You know, the fact it's not having to like search the whole node structure of the comments to find a parent and so on. It just does a quick lookup, and also it's not updating the you know, the reply status of the main level comments. Okay, so let's now jump ahead to the, let's just put a breakpoint here. Let's skip ahead to the actual, where it's, then after the replies have been added, so they would all be visible if it displayed them at that point. Okay, so now what we want to do is update the where a main level comment, top comment, has a more than the maximum replies that are initially shown. Then we need to update the toggle for that. So in other words, yeah, I mean, if a comment only has like no replies or up to 2 replies, then we don't need to do anything. So again, that's another efficiency. It's only going to update it. So let's jump to one instance where it does update it. So the actual replies, let's see if I can get it to display that for us. Oh, no, that's not going to work. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. So this particular main level comment has 24 replies. That's obviously way more than the the permitted, which is 2. So then it updates the toggle. It then basically hides the other 22 comments and just gives you then the option to display the full list. Okay, so let me skip ahead to the after it's completed that, which again is way quicker now. So if I remove that and not and let it rip, and yeah, that's it's done. You know, that takes no time at all now. But I hope you can appreciate. Yeah, previously it was calling the update toggle all button for every time a reply was added to a made another comment, it was calling this update all you know. So you can see how that saved again a considerable amount of time. So let's let this actually add the comments to the page, which takes a little while. And let's actually sort it in the popular order. Yeah, so that's all looking good. And just to show that wasn't like a fluke, that it took it was considerably quicker. Let's actually run that just once more. So to do that, I just need to put my put these knots back in so it doesn't stop at these conditional breakpoints. But that's handy that you can do that if you want. Yeah, that was fine. Okay, so let's go back to the console. So of course these times are irrelevant because we were actually stepping through the code there. But let me again refresh the comments and let's see if we get a similar result as before. So let's call the refresh function again. And I've offered to have a look at the I needed to I forgot to add a knot in that one, but that shouldn't make a whole lot of difference. Let's let it rip. And yeah, I offered to have a look at the back-end code for CommentFreely, because there's I'm hoping that Ray will allow me to fix some of the issues there. But you can see, yeah, that only took 1.2 seconds. To the main comments took longer because I was removed, it stopped. But yeah, that's working very nicely, isn't it? And yeah, one final thing I'll mention here, which just required a minor change in the comment actions, is yeah, the where you're editing a comment. What I found, had on numerous occasions, and I know user 0, was it A0 or 0x A0, he had the same issue where you save the comment and you think, oh great, that's done, but then when you reload the page, you find, oh no, it lost the change. And yeah, what was happening there was where something goes wrong on the server, it was basically just updating the what you saw in the page anyway. So that just required a minor change here, where essentially we need to do something similar when you originally create the comment. The difference being, when you get a response from the server for where you're updating it, it doesn't send back the actual comment details. It just says, yep, that worked. So all we needed to do to get the comment where you're editing to stay in edit mode where it actually failed is to create what's called a JavaScript closure, which is where you see the data. That is the data comment data structure that was passed to the main function there. So we, by referencing that in the sub function here on success, where the server comes back with says, yep, that worked fine, it will then invoke this success function. We reference this original data structure, which creates, as I say, this JavaScript closure, which is handy. It allows you to reference these parameters that are passed to the function, which normally you wouldn't be able to do. They would disappear, but it allows you to do that. So yeah, that small change ensures that, yeah, where the server it actually fails, you're going to stay in edit mode, so you at least have the chance to edit the comment to try and get it to save. Which is that's where my previous bookmarklet comes in handy, my JavaScript script that will actually amend the comment to get it to save. So yeah, I hope Rai will appreciate all these changes, improvements I made to CommentFreely, and will send me my my BitChute's baseball cap and shirt that I claimed back in October 2020, when I paid for a 6-month subscription, to chip in for the upkeep of the site. So yeah, as I say, hopefully as a little way of a thank you, Ray will ensure my cap and shirt finds its way to me in Virginia, the United States. So yeah, feel free to ask me questions in the comments, and bye for now.